If you're planning a trip to Singapore, then I have the video for you. This amazing city is full of exciting things to see and do, and it's a great place to visit for tourists of all ages. But before you start packing your bags, here are the top 9 things you need to know before visiting Singapore. Number 1, Singapore is safe. But low crime doesn't mean no crime. Singapore is known for its low crime rates and clean streets. It is considered one of the safest cities in the world. I've never felt unsafe walking around the streets at night, but the police here say that low crime doesn't mean no crime, as small amounts of petty theft and the like do happen. But tourists should feel safe walking alone at night or exploring any part of the city. Number 2, the official language is English. Singapore is a melting pot of cultures, and as a result, it is home to many different languages. These include Chinese and its various dialects, Malay and Tamil, but the official language is English, which is good news to visitors who don't speak any other language. All important signs and instructions are in English, and most locals speak English fairly well. I found it helpful to slow down though and use simpler words because sometimes locals get confused by my accent. Number 3, Singapore is a tropical paradise. Now this is obvious, I know, but worth mentioning because Singapore's climate can still be a shock for visitors coming from colder countries. Even when I host Australians in Singapore, they struggle with the heat and humidity. The city is located around 1 degree north of the equator, and this means it is hot and humid all year round. The coolest month is December, though it often rains significantly at this time, and that's what keeps the temperature down. I feel the warmest months are around April to June, which is a drier season, where those cooling rains don't often occur. It's that sort of baking heat instead. For visiting, if you want to swim in a pool or relax and enjoy the heat, I recommend that April to June period. If you're really worried about the heat and want to do a lot of outdoor activity, try November to January. It's still hot at this time, just simply less hot. Also make sure you pack light and comfortable clothing and try to stay in the shade when you walk around. Number 4, the food is amazing. This is another obvious one, but worth mentioning because Singapore is known for its incredible food. A wide range of delicious local dishes to try, including the famous chicken rice, chili crab and laksa, are all available cheaply from hawker centres. My personal favourite is bak kut teh, which is pork ribs cooked in a tea-based soup. A good serve typically costs around $10 to $20 in an outdoor hawker centre or coffee shop, or maybe around $30 or $40 at an indoor air-conditioned restaurant. Number 5, public transport is efficient and affordable. Singapore has excellent public transport. There are fast and comprehensive networks of buses, trains and taxis that crisscross the island and take you anywhere you want to go. All public transport is air-conditioned, making it a great way to escape from that heat and humidity. The buses and trains typically cost around $1 to $2 per journey. Even if you catch the train from one end of the island to the other, it won't cost you much more than $2. Taxis can be as cheap as $10 per journey, though most of the time you're looking at about the $15 to $25 range. If you're coming from the airport, it's slightly more expensive, and getting to most hotels will probably cost you around $30. Number 6, Singapore is a shopper's paradise. If you love shopping, you're in luck. Singapore is home to many incredible shopping malls, from high-end luxury brands to affordable local fashion. Orchard Road is the most famous shopping district. It comprises of a series of malls along the road, with most joined together by air-conditioned tunnels. It is also well connected to the city's train network and can be reached by using Somerset or Orchard MRT stations. If you're interested in a greater concentration of high-end brands, check out the shops at Marina Bay. An alternative shopping area that I enjoy is the Bugis area. It's a series of malls connected by bridges and a market walking street. Best access from the Bugis MRT station. Number 7, Singapore is a green city. Despite its dense urban landscape, Singapore is actually home to dozens of beautiful parks and gardens. The most famous is Gardens by the Bay, which is a 101 hectare park filled with towering super trees, a stunning flower display, and the famous cloud forest that's home to over 60,000 plants. Gardens by the Bay can be accessed by the Bayfront station or the newly opened Gardens by the Bay MRT station. You can see a lot of the gardens for free, but some exhibitions require a ticket to enter, costing between $35 and $65, depending on what is showing at the time. Another great garden to check out is the Botanic Gardens. The Singapore Botanic Gardens are UNESCO Heritage listed, and much of the gardens are free for anyone to visit. They can be accessed by the Napier or Botanic Gardens MRT stations. Number 8, Singapore is home to many cultural attractions. Singapore has a rich history and culture, and there are many interesting museums and galleries to visit. Check out the National Museum of Singapore, which includes a detailed history of the country. It costs around $15 to enter and can be accessed from the Bras Basah, Bencoolen or Dhoby Ghaut MRT stations. For something a bit different, check out the Asian Civilizations Museum, which is home to a permanent exhibit on how faith and belief spread throughout Southeast Asia. This one, the best way to get there is by taxi or by taking the bus to Fullerton Square and then walking across the bridge. It costs around $25 to enter. Number 9, Singapore is an amazing destination for families. If you're traveling with kids, you'll find that Singapore has plenty of family-friendly activities to keep them entertained. The night safari allows you to get close and observe a great variety of animals that love to come out at night. It costs $55 for an adult and $38 for a child. I recommend taking a taxi to get there and then using the shuttle bus to get out, followed by a taxi from where the shuttle bus drops you. If you're planning to visit the zoo as well, consider a multi-park pass to save a few dollars. Kids also love Universal Studios in Sentosa. It's full of fun roller coasters, rides and entertainment that is very kid friendly. Entry is around $80 per person depending on the time of year, and the best way to get to Universal Studios is by taking a taxi or using the Sentosa monorail. Hit subscribe if you're thinking about visiting Singapore, as I regularly release videos that have great ideas and information for you to have a stress-free and enjoyable trip.